How is it going, guys? It is Chill Wednesday, and today we are going to be installing the GeraldJustProjects Flex Fuel Kit on the GR86 along with a couple other things. But before we can get to that, we're actually in my living room right now. I need to ship out all your driven media orders. The new merch has finally arrived. I literally just picked it up yesterday and I've been packing it up ever since. I know you guys have been patiently waiting. This is about 95% of your orders on my coffee table here. But I just wanted to say thank you. And no matter if you ordered a jet tag, overlays, or merch, the support has been overwhelming. And all of this is gonna go right back into the channel to help me continue to create the best content I can and provide you guys with cool merch and accessories. If you guys still wanted to pick something up, I still have some sizes available in the hoodie and t-shirt. So head over to the driven.media website to see what is left. But I need to run these to the post office and we'll come back and get this thing installed. All right, everything is shipped. I walked in there with a bunch of packages and the lady was like, what the heck is all this? I also had another lady standing in line that recognized me from the video where I wrapped the FRS. It's always cool to go to random places and have people recognize you. It's still a strange feeling, but let's get home and flex some fuel. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a Flex Fuel Kit is or does, I'll give you a quick rundown. The main component is going to be this sensor here that detects the ethanol content in your fuel. So you reroute the fuel lines using the new included lines to the sensor, and with custom tuning, it's able to adjust the tune and compensate for the amount of ethanol in your fuel. So instead of running an E85 map and switching to a regular pump gas map and having to worry about the leftover E85 in your tank, with a Flex Fuel Kit, you can run E85, regular pump gas, or a mixture of the two, and this compensates for that mixture and makes sure everything runs like it's supposed to and you don't have to worry about anything. So if I were to take this on a long road trip, I don't have to map out a route to ensure that the gas stations have E85. I can just throw regular premium gas in here like I would and not have to worry about anything. It's super easy to install. This kit in particular is very simplistic. There's no unnecessary gauges or anything like that. So it's essentially plug and play, besides the fact that you do need to go get a custom flex fuel tune. The first thing we want to make sure to do is to release the pressure in the fuel lines. If you don't do this, you're gonna spray fuel absolutely everywhere. In the fuse box, we are gonna remove the fuse for the fuel pump, which is the second 20 amp yellow fuse right here. So grab the fuse puller, and we're gonna pull this out. Now we're gonna start the car until it stalls. And once it stalls, we're gonna crank it for a couple more seconds just to be sure, and then we can turn everything off. Go ahead and reinstall the fuse now so you don't forget. We're gonna be removing this fuel line that runs across the top on the driver's side here. So grab a flathead screwdriver. We're gonna unclip it from the bracket. Now these fuel line connectors on the newer gens are a lot easier to remove than the previous gen. All you need is a small flathead screwdriver, but I'm going to grab some paper towels and put it around that area because there's probably still a good amount of fuel in the lines. Now I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but I'll try to explain it best I can for you. There is this little blue piece right here. Right behind there, there's a slot where you can slide a flathead screwdriver into, and then you're just gonna pry it away from the connector until you hear it pop open like that. And now you're gonna be able to pull the line off. Now normally we'd mount the sensor to the 2 studs of the brace right here, but because I have the Cusco strut bar that utilizes one of those locations, we can't do that. So instead, I'm going to mount it to the 1 stud here on the top hat of the coilover. Right next to where we just mounted the sensor, you're gonna see this harness right here with this big black connector. Go ahead and disconnect that. Maybe. There we go. And we're going to connect the harness that comes from the sensor in between the 2 OEM connectors. There we go. And we want to take the hose with the 2 90-degree female adapters. The one end here is going to go onto the engine. Make sure you hear it clip to lock into place. And then we'll also lock it into this retaining clip there. Take this off and pop it onto the sensor. We'll slide the other line on here. Now normally, if you have this mounted over here, you'd run this in the opposite U shape to come over here and connect to the OEM line on this side. But because I moved it over a little bit further, that's too sharp of an angle to come around here. So I'm just gonna go down instead and come back up. And that just pops into OEM connector. Pop that blue tab back down to lock it into place. And now we should be golden. That really is all there is to it, guys. It's that easy. All that's left to do now is to go get the car tuned, which I need to schedule, but you guys have already seen the car on the dyno on E85, so it's not gonna be much different. I'm gonna leave the kit on there until then. It's not gonna hurt anything, but I do have one more product from GeraldJustProjects to show you. This is their vent gauge for the 22 GR86 and BRZ. This installs into the vent on the driver's side and displays a bunch of different information that you can configure, things like your AFR, intake air temp, water temp, oil temp, etc., etc. So I'm gonna show you guys how to install this and show you how it works and how it looks. To remove this vent, we need to disassemble this area of the dash. So we need to pop this cover off. There's gonna be an opening on the bottom for you to place a pry tool into. And that should just pop off. And that's gonna reveal a Phillips head screw that we'll remove. We can just grab this portion and pull it off. Should just pop right off. There's gonna be another Phillips head screw right here. And with that removed, you can grab the vent, give it a good pull, and it should pop right out. If we take a look at the backside of the vent, you'll see that it has these tabs here. There's 3 of them. One right there, that's the easiest one to see. There's one down there and one tucked right there. What you want to do is take a flathead screwdriver and we're going to stick it down into this gap right here, and we're going to pry that tab open while also prying this piece in the middle up to release it. So now you can see there's a gap right here. Do that on all 3 of those tabs and you'll be able to pull this middle section out. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. On the vent section that we just pulled out, on the back side, there is another screw that we'll remove. And that's gonna allow you to pull the fins out. Now we can feed the wiring through the back side and connect it to our gauge. And then we're gonna align this little knob on the top with the opening on the vent right there. Push it in. And now we just need to reassemble this. So we'll take this section that we popped off earlier, get it lined up. and it should just pop right back into place. Now we just need to put it back on the car. When you're installing it back onto the car, make sure the harness gets routed through this gap here so we can plug it into the cable that will go to the OBD2 port. We'll reinstall these screws. So now I'm just gonna plug the cable in. There's gonna be a lot of slack here that will end up zip tying away, but we're gonna plug this into the OBD2 port. And then for now, I'm just gonna leave this back here, and then we will put this panel back in place. With the car off, if you hold down the 2 buttons, you're gonna go into the settings so you can change the brightness. The left button here is gonna cycle through if you hold it down. So we've got full, half, low. And then if you hold down this button, it'll go to the next screen. So we've got temps, pressure units, AFR. You can do a low power mode if you don't drive the car a lot. You can turn that on so it doesn't take a lot of power. You can set it so it keeps the peak numbers. Then we've got mile per hour, kph, gauge color. You can do normal or red. Switch it to red there. And then you can hold down the buttons to go back. I'm gonna turn the car on to show you guys how it looks. I'm probably not gonna talk through this section because it's gonna be loud, but when the car's on, if you hold down both of the buttons, that's gonna allow you to change the information that's on that certain screen. If you hold down just one of the buttons, that goes to the next page. So let me turn the car on here. I almost forgot to tell you guys about a key feature of this gauge. It allows you to control the active sound. So if you don't want the fake engine noise in the cabin, instead of unplugging the module or taking the car to the dealership, you can turn it on and off using the gauge. 2 great products from GeraldJustProjects. I actually run both the Flex Fuel Kit and that gauge in my FRS as well and have loved them so far. So highly recommend. If you guys want to pick them up for yourself, the links are down in the description. But that is going to do it for this week's Chill Wednesday. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the comment section. I'm always happy to help. And let me know what else you'd like to see on the cars. If you want to support the channel, hop over to the driven.media website. Pick yourself up some merch, overlays, or lighting. And if you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.